This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. The checkered flag has flown on the 109th Indianapolis 500, but the Indianapolis Motor Speedway isn't the only historic track in the Hoosier state. Many drivers cut their teeth on small tracks around the state, including the historic Winchester Speedway in Randolph County.
Winchester is really the foundation for what grassroots short track racing is. You couldn't get grassroots racing at a 2.5 mile oval like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The incorporation of Winchester and the super high banks got everybody's attention.
General Manager Dan Redmond said there are no plans to slow down. He said officials aim to continue making improvements to the track and its amenities. A Terre Haute plant that was originally designed to manufacture CDs in the 1980s is continuing efforts to diversify with a new partnership that will take it into the semiconductor space. Sony DADC on Tuesday announced a partnership with Terre Haute-based D&D Automation and KLA Corporation in California to manufacture specialized shipping canisters used to transport chip components. It was not immediately clear if any new jobs are being added as a result. BWF Envirotech, an industrial filtration company based in Germany, is planning to relocate its North American headquarters and manufacturing facility to Greendale in southeast Indiana. The company, currently operating out of Hebron, Kentucky, is investing $9 million in the move, which is expected to bring 60 jobs to the Dearborn County city. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Northwest Indiana is on the move, and the next big conversation is happening in Valparaiso. Join business and community leaders at Innovate Northwest Indiana, a powerful afternoon of ideas, innovation, and insight. We're talking talent, technology, and transformation, and what's next for the region. Join us at Valparaiso University July 9, part of the Innovate Indiana series presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
The Indiana Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in June for a case involving the state's two civil lawsuits against TikTok. IIB's Mark Mazurik has more.
According to the court, the state filed two civil suits in Allen Superior Court against TikTok, alleging the company had violated Indiana's Deceptive Consumer Sales Act. On TikTok's motion, the trial court dismissed both cases for lack of specific personal jurisdiction. In September, the Indiana Court of Appeals reversed a lower court's dismissal of two amended complaints filed by the state against TikTok, which alleged the California company had engaged in deceptive acts under Indiana's Deceptive Consumer Sales Act. TikTok has petitioned the Indiana Supreme Court to accept jurisdiction over its appeal. In its opinion, the appellate court stated the Indiana judiciary has specific personal jurisdiction over TikTok, with the company's contacts within Indiana well beyond the, quote, minimum needed to satisfy due process. The court also noted that TikTok reported $46 million in Indiana-based income tax in 2021. In its opinion, the appellate court referenced the state's amended complaints, where the state alleged that, in order to induce end users in Indiana to download its app, TikTok misrepresented various information on which end users within Indiana were likely to rely when deciding whether to download or access the app. The Supreme Court hearing is scheduled for June 24th at 10 a.m. in Indianapolis. I'm Mark Mazurik for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Pacers Sports and Entertainment is continuing to hone its plans for the $78 million practice facility for the Indiana Fever that it plans to start building later this summer. The project is planned for the northeast corner of Maryland and Delaware Streets in downtown Indy on the western portion of the former Marion County Jail property that demolition crews are continuing to clear. Since the Indiana Fever Sports Performance Center was first announced in January, Pacers Sports and Entertainment has been working with architectural firm Populous to make minor updates to the design of the three-story, 108,000 square foot facility. A groundbreaking date for the facility has not been finalized. University of Southern Indiana President Steve Bridges is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.